Well, this was my first repaint and I really learned a lot. The main thing is about the usage of Mr. Superclear. I started off with, using professional stuff. I'm sure that I was giving myself the best opportunity to make as good of a doll as possible, but I really struggled with the application, okay? So I was doing everything right. I was spraying it from XX amount away. It was a ventilated space. I just did it outside, far from our garden and animals. I was wearing a mask, a particle mask and everything, and I just didn't understand why the pencil is not being picked up, as you can see in the background. I thought I'd got a faulty can, it had something wrong with it, or maybe it was just old and I got screwed, but apparently not. Apparently it's a very simple problem. I just sprayed too thick, so I was making the doll's faces wet with the spray. So for comparison, here is a kind of practice repaint that I did, just white and black kind of. No, white and red. And I used 3 light layers, and the pencil, the pigment is really sticking on. So I was a bit aggravated, but at least I'd learned. And since I didn't know anyone on YouTube who had had this problem, everyone else can learn from the issues I had that apparently no one else has. With this new knowledge, I wiped off her failed face and started the repaint again with using the MSG correctly. Using kind of purples and pencils to just get the base face in before I start going in with it. at first it was quite hard to layer up the colours. I developed this technique of getting the pencil, kind of just wetting it lightly, and you'll definitely see this when I put in the white and the eye pink. What's it called? The water duct, waterline. And I need to develop this technique a bit more because it's got a bit of texture which I don't really like. I've kind of developed, in my subsequent repaints, of which I'm kind of currently working on too, I've worked out that you can kind of rub with a cotton wool pad that's clean, or like a cotton glove like Delightful does, to kind of get rid of some of that texture, but I will hopefully slowly develop and get better. And then not have this texture issue, because that's my pet hate, my pet peeve, not a hate, pet peeve, when people use acrylics, just like the lumps and bumps and bloops. end of it all, I'm very happy with her. I named her Violet, and I think whilst she didn't end up exactly as I intended, she kind of maintained her kind of sassy vibes and kind of developed more of a slightly softer and kinder personality than intended. The kind of person that's really nice, but you know, if you annoy her or get at her friends, you know, she'll bite back with words, you know. It suits her well, I think. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my first repaint, and thank you, come again.